I remember some time back, I think I was talking to my aunt. I'm talking to my aunt then. I was talking to her about, we're actually just talking about the direction of my life, where my life was going towards. Because at that point, people around me didn't seem to understand me in a way. So she was coming from a good place. I will give it to her. Most people come from a good place when they're about to talk you down. So, long story short, we're talking, and she said, "You think I do not know you, or you think I do not know who you are? You love to be praised. You love people to sing your praise." I was like, "Yo, are you for real?" Nothing that I do is about me seeking praise. And it's only natural for people to think that when you say you've got big dreams, they are aligning it to you seeking fame, you seeking praise, you wanting to be extraordinarily rich. You know, people usually mistake big dreams for these, should I use frivolous things, these vain things. But that's definitely not what it is. That's not what it is. Having big dreams is more about having like a vision, having a burning passion to do something. Excuse me, a burning passion to do something, and a desire to make a lasting impact, and a desire to foster growth in yourself, in your community, in the world at large, and all that. Right? I think that's what having big dreams. That's what's close to having big dreams. It's not absolute, right? It doesn't cover every aspect, every explanation, every what's the word now? Every definition of a big dream. But these are probably the core elements you find in most big dreamers, right? And it's so easy for them people to say things that will weaken your spirit. It's so easy for people to say things that will, diminish your energy because they actually do not understand where you're coming from, neither do they understand where you're going to, right? And that reminds me of, I think it was last year. That reminds me of last year. I was painting like my previous piece. From nowhere, I stumbled on a podcast. It wasn't really. I stumbled on an episode, like a recording, an episode on Spotify. It was supposed to be a podcast, but it was a Masonite teaching, so the Freemasons teaching. I just stumbled on it, and sadly they've removed it. They've taken it off Spotify. I actually couldn't finish the 6 episodes. Right, but I think during the first episode, I think first 2 episodes, the teacher, the Freemason teacher, was talking about the Masonite teaching was about the foundations for success. I think it was a bit of the foundations for success, how to achieve anything you want to achieve, how to get anything you want to get. And there were 3 foundations. You give me a minute, I wrote it down on my give me a minute, I wrote it down on my Jenga set, so I'll have to look for it. I have to look for it. It was 3 of it. I'll have to. Okay. Wow. So this is it. These are the 4 of them. Sorry, I had some other Masonite teaching writings on those Jenga sets, on those wooden Jenga sets. So, and these are them. But I'll read them out. I'll read them out. So it's actually 4 of them. It's not 3. It's 4. The four foundations for you to get anything you want. The 4 foundations to get anything you want. I don't know what it is. It might be success, you know, becoming good at your sports, becoming a good artist, becoming successful at whatever you intend to do. So the first one is the most interesting one, right? The first one is, wow, nice. The first one, see, number one, the first one is who to listen to. Who to listen to. After I learned this, I stopped taking advice from, sorry, I stopped taking advice from not just anybody. After I learned this, I stopped taking advice from them. I filter the people I listen. I tend to now filter the people I listen to talk. Because at the end of the day, some people are not there to ignite your fire, they are there to quench it. You should always make sure that you listen to the right people. So who to listen to is one of it. Who to listen to is like the first foundation for achieving anything you want to achieve. So apart from that, so because of the sake of this video, because of the sake and because of the sake of this video, and I know that a lot of us have, you know, anybody that's clicked on this video has big dreams. We'll go on to talk about other foundations. Go on to see other foundations. So the foundation number 2 is your teachability index. Right? You have to be teachable. There's this saying that I pardon me because I may not say it right, but you get the message. That says the more you know, the more you understand that you do not know. And that's where I am right now. I think that will be on that level for the rest of my life, because the more knowledge I had, the more I understood that, dude, I know nothing. Like, there's a lot of things that I do not know, and I'm open to know them. So that's what the teachability index talks about. But in order for you not to, swamp yourself in wrong teachings, you have to always look out for who you listen to. You have to be very careful of who you listen to, so that they do not quench your fire. So you always should look out for people that will ignite your fire, right? And the third foundation for achieving anything you want to achieve for people with big dreams is the training balance skill. The third one is the training balance skill. We'll move on to the next one, because I think I have lost. I will move on to the next one because I don't think I can remember what this actually talks about. I don't think I understand what this actually talks about in the wider context. For anybody that understands what it talks about in the wider context, I will appreciate it if you can drop a comment in this comment section. I would love to pick your brains. So the fourth one is your competence levels. The fourth one is your competence levels. And talking about these competence levels reminds me of fear when trying to do things. Fear when trying to do things, fear when you're trying to do something big, trying to do something big. Yeah, every time your competence level gets questioned. Do you understand? Your competence level gets questioned whenever you want to achieve something big. I think that's why fear is being implanted in you just from nowhere. But I think while I was listening to the teaching, to further increase your competence level, there's a mindset shift they are supposed to have. I think it's about what you tell yourself. It shouldn't be, how do I get this done? It should be more of, what do I want done, right? It shouldn't be a question of how do I get things done. It should be a question of, what do I want done? So how is already creating an obstacle, but what is already saying you need, and the remaining part of it is for you to want to see that you achieve that need. I don't know whatever it is, but I noticed that when I shifted my mindset, right, I started achieving things better, because I was no longer asking myself too many of the hows, which is planting fear in me. I was only telling myself what needed to be done, and I think from there the way started clearing as I started taking like little steps. Fear is a very big obstacle when we're trying to achieve things, when we're trying to do things. And we tend to kind of like be overwhelmed, easily overwhelmed. And I think the main reason why we get overwhelmed, this is me talking about things from a personal perspective right now, not a general perspective, right? One of the reasons why I am overwhelmed most times is also because of that question of how do I get to the final vision. It's because I can see the final vision and I can see how big it is. It overwhelms me that I do not know where to start. Most times I've learned to find a seed, a node, like my friend Nonview would say. And seed, node, and in science you see an atom, something that you can build off of, right? For instance, I will take graphic designing for an instance, right? I to design. So when I'm designing a graphic, yes, there is the there's a conventional roadmap to achieving a design. There's a conventional workflow from you starting from research up all to all that. But I've noticed that because I've opened my mind, you know, I've noticed that because I've opened my mind, I find seeds, I find nodes, I find atoms in every in different places. I find nodes, I find seeds, I find atoms in different places. So if you feel overwhelmed, so whenever I feel overwhelmed about a project, about a plan, about a dream, what I would do is to find a seed to water. So let's say, like I said, graphic design, I can just choose a color and build off of that. Right? Like, this is not the final destination of this YouTube space, but I just talk about our struggles as creatives just as a starting point. And funny enough, it's a node that connects to the bigger node. It's an atom that is going to recreate itself. It's an atom that is going to, multiply itself into something bigger, into molecules, and boom, it's going to like someday become a bomb. I think that's the mindset shift that has helped me overcome being overwhelmed. So I am less overwhelmed. It's not like I'm a master of it right now, but most times I am less overwhelmed because of how I now approach things. Because I just believe that all I need is a seed, and I water it until I get to the bigger picture. One thinking that plagues us, there's one thinking that serves as an obstacle still when you're trying to achieve big things that you're trying to do things that have not been done before. I think it's a question of why am I doing this? Why should I be doing this? There are already 1,001 people doing this. Why should I be doing this? You notice that it's only in rare cases that you go to the mall and you find someone that looks like you. That should make you understand the power of being unique, the power of uniqueness. Your story is so unique that there is going to be somebody that it connects directly to. Guess who has not done what others are doing is you. Guess who has not put his or her own fine print, put his or her own signature on something, put his or her own voice on something? That's you. So your voice is unique. You have to use it. People have to hear your voice. Your story is different, and the truth is that your story is going to empower some people that are fighting inner battles. Your unique story might empower someone who is fighting an inner battle. I think I will try to drop it here. There's a lot of things that I would have loved to put into this video, but I can't just force everything into the video. So if you want to see things like this in the future, I will urge you to hit the subscribe button below. And to be honest, I so love you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you at the other side of your dreams. I hope to see you at the other side of happiness. I hope to see you on the bench of achievers. That said, Peace.